It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. And it's happy birthday, White White, you know, the camera's got to see your shoes because these are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful birthday shoes.
Thank you.
I hope the camera is on those shoes. Oh,
thank you.
This is such a lovely
present from my friend.
Oh, look at those. At 61, I can see you rocking. Hey, mother.
We will be like this, yo.
Amen. It will be a crime for us to be 61 and not look like you.
Honestly.
You will be hiding like happy birthday.
Go, Yanni. It's your birthday. Go, Yanni. It's your birthday.
Don't see
See what you started again.
Don't see Bacardi. Anyway,
how you doing?
So what are you doing today?
No, you can come to the house for drinks. If you
Which of the
want.
houses, Lekki or?
No, Malagbole.
Malagbole.
Oh,
Oh, you wanted to go to Lekki?
Lekki is close by next.
You know, my grandchildren are around.
Yes,
Yeah, so I don't want to leave them because I don't have that much time with them. So
that's nice.
I just like to stay with them when they're around.
Oh, good.
Much to Theo's. I don't know what to say.
What was Theo do today?
Bring my wife.
He should come over now.
I can't blame you.
And he will come.
Yeah,
He'll come.
Good to have you. Anything else you're doing? Anything interesting?
No.
Are you going to sit like your grandchildren down, your children, neighbors, and just give them words of wisdom? You know, when you get to from 60, you start reeling out words of
61.
wisdom. I know.
61. Can you imagine when I was 20, when I was 30, I thought 61 was so old.
Yeah.
And now I'm there.
You're not
Times are
even
changing.
But you look great, Mikey. You look great.
Thank you.
Nima Akashat Zabiri, how are you doing?
Me, I'm fine. I'm just, enjoying YK's looks from her grace, crowning very perfectly on her. She's beautiful. Happy birthday, YK.
Thank you.
And you know we love you.
I'm blushing.
Oh, absolutely. We love you, die, YK.
Yeah.
Love you.
She's our
This
mama
time
in the
last year, you
house.
bought me car.
Oh, YK, please.
We're planning on the house, but that will be for
Don't worry, we're getting you a house next.
Amen.
Wait, just mention the area. We'll get it the house. The banana, my corn,
Banana Island.
get
the
it.
spirit.
We get it for you. Don't worry, get it for you. How you doing, Angela?
I'm doing amazing. So I'm just happy for YK. I'm happy because I know that looking back, you say that you are fulfilled. You have lived, you're still living, you're fulfilled, you're happy, you're blessed. It's not like you look for too much. You just want to be comfortable. You just want to have that life. And it's something worthy of emulation. People should look.
Thank you.
The hustle and bustle of I have to be like this, I have to be like that is really not necessary. At the end of the day, the most important thing is life, good health, like you have it. And I pray that more wisdom will come.
Amen.
At some point, we look forward to you sitting down and just telling us, BC, go this way and go that way.
Yeah,
That, God will be speaking to you.
Amen.
For me
Amen.
and for all of us here.
Amen.
You know what I appreciate most about YK is the fact that you live your life. Like, if there's anything you inspire me to is to live. As much as I can be very conservative, when I remember a YK sometimes, I remember, just take it easy.
Just take it easy.
Just relax and enjoy life. And you enjoy it. We see it. And you glow every single day. And just seeing that it's enough for people like me. That, it's okay.
Live as if it's your last time. Enjoy.
You know, you always tell us, when I want to eat jollof rice, I just really, why can't we eat jollof rice? I just eat this jollof rice.
Move on.
You move it and move on. We're so happy for you. Happy birthday, Mikey. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. APC primaries, Buhari aspirants governors for high-level talks. Former governors, ex-minister win PDP senatorial ticket. Government okays contract to buy more kits for Air Force. APC's planned screening of Jonathan Emefiele others raises curiosity. Suspended Accountant General became political appointee in 2021. Emefiele withdraws suit against INEC and AGF. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Major headline.
Go ahead.
APC, it's a bit of, drama around the party elections preparations. So today, the APC's presidential aspirants governorship aspirant, or gubernatorial aspirant, National Assembly aspirants, and all of them. And the National Working Committee of the party will be meeting with the president today. Also, yesterday, they postponed the presidential screening of the party to, according to the National Secretary, Suleiman Argungu, said that it was postponed till tomorrow, but the National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, says no, that it's been postponed and a new date will be conveyed later, and that they will be submitting the list of, the National Working Committee will be submitting a list to the president that, would ensure each free primaries. But among all the laudable things they were talking about, I'm just worried that, APC know what it will cost them if they don't meet the deadline INEC has given. They know they've had that experience in Zamfara, and it will be too expensive for them to continue to postpone indefinitely or, till something. I think they should quickly put their acts together within the House. But, they are working towards, according to them, a very each free primaries within their party.
Okay. So the federal government has approved new equipment procurement contracts for the Nigerian Air Force. So according to the president, he stated this in Kano yesterday during the ceremonial parade to commemorate the 58th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force. He was lauding the Air Force for living up to their constitutional responsibilities of securing the nation. He also said that they are trying as much as possible to provide a lot of modern equipment, such as the Super Tucanos, the Augusta helicopter gunships, among others. And this will also help to turn the tide against the fight or against insecurity. And he said that they will continue to provide more platforms to modernize the armed forces. To this end, they also mentioned that they are going to be procuring a lot of Beechcraft, some modern helicopter gunships, UAV for the Nigerian Air Force to enable them man the airspace effectively. They went ahead to visit some of the families of the victims of the Kano explosion, and he was, sharing his, extending his condolences to the family members. But there was no point where he said they were still negotiating or not on how to get the abducted people out.
I wanted to take the suspended Accountant General's story, who they said he's a guest at the Economic and Crimes Commission. That was what the paper said. He's a guest, and actually, what they said is that after he finished his tenure at 60 as a civil servant, the government now he was a political appointee. So that's why he was able to stay on after his retirement age. And he was signed on by the Secretary General to the Federation.
Okay, so I have the story concerning the, I took that story yesterday, the fact that the presidential screening is going to be taken on today, APC presidential screening, and the fact that they're still going to be screening Jonathan Emefiele, Additional, and I think Ngige. And of course, party members are they're getting very curious about why are they retaining to keep these people in the list, especially when they've withdrawn. But according to the party, they haven't officially withdrawn. I think we were saying this morning that I think the report said only one have actually officially withdrawn. But others have just left in a limbo, and because of that, they're still going to go ahead with screening with them, even though they're not available. Moving on quickly now to the Punch. APC presidential primaries, Lagos, Borno lose jumbo delegates again. Party shifts senatorial poll. Air Force marks 58th anniversary. Buhari insists service position to tackle challenges. Again, says at home paralyzes. Imo, Anambra, bank schools shut. Lagos explosion, gas plant owner dies. Lawyer insists on 800 million naira compensation. Telcos protest 90 billion naira new phone tax to bill subscribers. Dismissed policeman bags life imprisonment for defiling people who was 9 years old. Gombe governor intolerant of criticism, death profile story, my only crime. States groan over delayed revenue sharing, FAC meets today. 36 states lose financial autonomy suit against federal government. And Obasanjo meets Wike, others seeks justice and fairness. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me take the Mohammed Ali, the dismissed police officer who he got life with no option of fine, and his name is supposed to be put in the sex register of sex offenders, Lagos State. And apparently he had pulled the girl into the barracks and defiled her. And he first admitted it, then he denied it. But there were about 3 or 4 witnesses that testified, and then the girl's story herself, 9 years old.
But we're happy that, she got justice.
Yeah, she got justice.
So let me take the story of the telcos. The Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria are really upset about the move by the federal government to add 1 kobo per second tax on phone calls. According to them, they said this is a really bad move, and this is insensitive considering their operating environment and what Nigerians are going through. According to them also, they said that they have tried to get a review of their tariff based on their operational costs, but the federal government disagreed and said they were not going to release or increase their tariff. All of a sudden, they are bringing in tax through the back door, and this is going to be affecting the consumers directly. So if you buy like airtime of 100 naira, they are going to be taking the tax from it. So you are paying for more and getting less value of what you have paid for. And so they said this is not good, and they are going to, really fight against it.
Okay, so I have the local government and the 36 states losing their financial autonomy suit against the federal government. So the 36 states government, through their attorney generals, had gone to court to contest the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit guidelines, which, questions inflow into the local government account from the federal account, and daily output limits daily output to about 500,000 daily for local government spending. They had gone to court to contest it, and the court said, I don't see how this clashes in any way with the Constitution. The court quoted Section 7(1)(6) and Section 7A, paragraph A and B of the 1999 Constitution as not conflicting with Section 162, sub 6 of the 1999 Constitution, and said that the local governments, the state governments, all 36 of them should stay off the funds, and confirms the autonomy of the financial autonomy of the local governments.
So there was a case, if you recall, there was a case about a gas plant explosion in Lagos State. So that cost the lives of about 8 people back in 2020, October 8th. And then the case, Justice Ogala threw out the case because the state was had filed this case against the owner of the gas the gas plant, which is Alhaji Waidi Fashola, probably knows Lara Fash. Unfortunately, the man died, and the judge struck out the case. However, the prosecutor is insisting that the families of those who had died as a result of the man's negligence should still be compensated 800 million. So he's still trying to pursue that. But I was just wondering, so who would compensate? Is it the state that will now compensate?
They're suing the state.
They're suing the state now to compensate. Okay, moving on now to Vanguard Electoral Act. Governors lament fear inability to control delegates. 36 governors lose suit against financial autonomy for local governments. Lagos shuttle drivers protest tax force extortion. 2023, Buhari won't seek third term or tenure extension, says APC. Major upsets trail Senate House of Reps PDP primaries. Probe internally fraud in judiciary budget. Retired Supreme Court Justice begs ICPC and EFCC. Insecurity, Soludo draws battle line against criminals. Okay, story.
So the Justice Ejembi Eko, of the retired Justice of the Supreme Court, while he was being given his passing out event, decided to open up on the issues within the judiciary. He said that, the chief registrars allowed themselves to be directed willy-nilly in the vandalism of judiciary budget. He talked about calling on the ICPC, the EFCC, and the Auditor General to go into the books of the judiciary and see how, these mismanagements are happening. They should expose them and, prosecute them to stem them. And those were his words, really. Okay. What he was passing out. But congratulations. So.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Vanguard, and I'll take the major headlines. So, Electoral Act, governors lamenting fear, inability to control delegates. So, as many of you know, our president is yet to assent to this Electoral Act. Now, what that means is that those who are super delegates, and your super delegates are the governors, the ministers, the key guys, they won't be allowed to vote at the primaries. So now the delegates we're depending on are now the delegates who are going to be the party delegates. Now, these people are hard to control. So, and that's why the governments are getting really scared, because now it's no more in their hands. It's in the hands of these delegates. So I think the PDP has about 800 delegates, and I believe that APC has over 2,400 delegates. These are delegates, party delegates, who will then be deciding. So now they're racing against time to ensure that those 2,400 or those 800 are people that are actually going to be loyal to certain candidates. So now it's very difficult. It's difficult to get that consensus because people are different. So at least the governors and the super delegates, you can actually control them. So there's a lot of issues because our president is yet to sign. And people are saying this is a strategy, that the man knows what he's doing. Baba is not as slow as we think. The man is very, very calculative. But we never know. We'll see how things are going. But the cards are not playing as many governors are expected. And they're really worried that he's yet to sign. Since May 13th, I think they've been dealing on this matter. Okay.
I wanted to take the Lagos shuttle drivers protest. They're protesting the extortion from the task force. I think Mima will know that area better than me.
Yeah.
Agbara, Igbo, Eleri.
Igbo Eleri.
Thank you.
Agbara, Igbo Eleri.
That area, there is a construction there. So the motorists and commercial vehicles are forced to take the one way, and the task force will go and wait for them. When you take it,
they collect money, 100K, 150,000, and they won't give any receipts.
That's something the Commissioner for Transport can easily handle. But I've seen where the Commissioner announces a diversion, and the task force come and arrest me. Yours truly sitting down here on that diversion. But then they should announce what the rules are there.
So they went on a protest. They refused to carry passengers yesterday, and they explained that they impounded 15 vehicles. 150 at 15 vehicles.
Please help.
Some cool cash.
Okay. Let's move on.
Yes, I have a story here. Our Mariah's favorite governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, has said that his administration has drawn a battle line against criminals, insisting that there's no place that would be safe in the state for them. He also said that they have identified some criminals terrorizing the state, and there's nothing unknown about them. All these ones we hear, unknown gunmen, unknown women, that people actually know them. Right now, what they need is a lot of collaboration. So when you see, you hear, you inform the police, and they are able to take action, and he's not going to take it. I think the Ebonyi State Governor, Dave Umahi, has also claimed that one of the reasons they're having insecurity issues in his state is because he had moved from PDP to APC, and for him, it's politically motivated, and they're just trying to destabilize his state.
Okay, moving on quickly to Daily Sun. Primaries, APC walks tightrope. Olufin Alayegun Olowu back Oyetola's re-election. Police kill 4 gunmen in Anambra, intensify hunts for others. ASU strike, NANS threatens shutdown of major airports. Federal government floors governors on local government financial autonomy. 813 delegates to elect PDP presidential candidate. And despite tough markets, NSIA's net assets grow to 919.7 billion naira in 2021. Okay, which story are we taking, son?
They said the police had killed 4 of the gunmen terrorizing various parts of the state, that's Anambra State, and the 4 were taken out at Umunchu community in Agwata local government area during a gun battle. According to the Commissioner of Police, he said an anonymous person made a call to him and said that there's these particular people who are terrorizing, and they had this Hummer Jeep. And so he deployed his policemen. They chased them from one locality to another, caught them there, and then they had a gun battle where they had killed about 4 of them. And so he's encouraging more people. Said he doesn't even know the person. The person kept calling. Even when they left and went to another town to disrupt the peace, the person still called that they have moved, kept giving them information. And this is what is expected from community residents. So once you see anything that's out of the ordinary, you can make a call to the police. You don't need to tell them your name or anything. This is what we're going to be doing together in collaboration to solve the issues of insecurity in the state.
Okay, fantastic. Any other story in Sun? ASU? Who has ASU?
I have ASU, but you know, I took it a few days ago, I think last week, where they decided, okay, that was yesterday, where they said they were going to shut down the airports to force the federal government into renegotiation with ASU and ensure that, you know, ASU comes back to school. And so the Southwest Zone D coordinator, Mr. Adeboye, also said in Abuja yesterday that they are going to, this is the time that they are going to keep working, keep, you know, protesting across states. And, you know, when I took the story yesterday, the government already got wind that they were coming, the students will be coming to the airport. And so they tried to put up security around the airport and even when you are driving into the airport to just forestall whatever is going to happen with the rampaging students. So it's just about trying to make sure that they have a conversation. According to them as well, they said this is not a matter for Labour to handle. Labour has been the one negotiating, and Labour is just treating it as an industrial action. But the Minister of Education, Adamu, needs to sit up and have this conversation because he understands the value. So all over the world, education is foremost in terms of budgeting and everything. And now it seems like we're not paying attention enough to education in Nigeria.
Okay, last paper, the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. PDP National Assembly primaries. Autumn Banki W. Ango Abdullahi's son Tegbe, Ned Nwoko, others win. Presidential ambition, Emefiele withdraws suit against INEC and AGF. 2 months after attack, flight resumes at Kaduna Airport. Too late now to sign Electoral Act amendment, poll observers tell Buhari. 2023 coalition of 7 political parties in alliance NC front. 19.4 million Nigerians to face food crisis by August, says ECOWAS. And 36 governors lose suit against financial autonomy for local government.
So the PDP have, you know, done their primaries as expected, and, you know, they are conforming with INEC's time. But let's just quickly announce some of the highlights. The son of Professor Ango Abdullahi, Sadiq Ango, who was kidnapped on the train and still in captivity with the bandits or terrorists, sorry, really? Better put. Yes, he won in absentia in Sabon Gari Federal Constituency in Kaduna. And our own Banki W in Lagos, he also won the primary ticket. In fact, landslide, 28 out of 31 delegates voted for him. We also have the son of Fayoshe winning in Ekiti, you know, and across board, all delegates have emerged. I mean, sorry, all candidates have emerged in the PDP primaries for the National Assembly.
So, according to the report, 19.4 million Nigerians will face food crisis by August, according to this report by ECOWAS, saying that this crisis is going to be fueled by the fact that crop production is not meeting population growth, while the nation's agri sector is threatened by insecurity and adverse weather conditions. So, they're projecting, as they internationally usually project, that 19.5 million of us are going to face food crisis across in August. They also added that security is a major threat, and poor seed quality and varieties is also a factor. Low access to agri credit, low agro-processing capacity, and low investment in agricultural research. All these are factors that will cause the crisis in food by August, according to ECOWAS.
World Health Organization is warning us that COVID-19 not gone. We need to really, really be careful. They said it seems like it's declining. At least we're not hearing a lot of deaths, but COVID-19 is still very much ongoing. In about 70 countries.
I thought it was in Ukraine.
Yeah, they still have.
Since Ukraine war, they stopped covering COVID now. Something else.
They said it's only 60% of the world's population that has been vaccinated, and most of those people are in, you know, high economic countries. Our own countries, we are not really rolling out vaccines, and people are not encouraged to vaccinate. And it's not over till it's over everywhere in the world. We need to take more measures.
Is enough to guarantee
I'm even wondering, because, like, on this table, we've all been vaccinated.
Yes, we have.
So that is...
That's all we can take on front page review, but many Nigerians are not vaccinated.
Yeah, many Nigerians are
Many of them did not go out to get vaccinated.
Is the one
Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to our topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, World Health Organization, WHO, was informed of a confirmed case of monkeypox recently in an individual who traveled from the United Kingdom to Nigeria and subsequently returned to the UK. On the show today, we have the head of Infectious Diseases Unit, Department of Medicine, Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Irohe Akashe. He'll be telling us what we need to know about monkeypox and what we need to do to prevent it. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Akashe.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for having. So, when we heard the news about monkeypox, we thought that this was something that we've been vaccinated against monkeypox, and it shouldn't be something we should be worried about. But in your view, why is there a recent outbreak of this globally?
Okay, so monkeypox, to just correct, we are not really being vaccinated against monkeypox. It's not something that's been, endemic in the human population, but, such a big problem in terms of the human illness. Of course, it's a zoonotic illness, which means that it can be transmitted from animals to humans. It's endemic around in most of West Africa and Central Africa. It's related to other. So when you say pox illnesses generally refers to illnesses that present with, vesicles or I don't know, like a small water-filled blisters on the skin, small size. So it's related to something like chicken pox. Most of us know what chicken pox is. And then, of course, for quite a number of us who are old, people who are older, of course, they can also remember smallpox, which was eradicated in the 70s. So in a way, they are all related. And one characteristic of most of the pox illnesses is that they present with rashes on the skin, with warm water. They eventually may become infected. And sometimes also, in few people, affect other organs like the lungs, the brain, and cause severe illness. But to a large extent, there are mild illnesses that you expect them to, expect people to recover fully, when they get infected with that. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, Doctor, what's the news about it? Why is it trending everywhere? We as Africans are used to the chickenpox, the monkeypox, and the ways our mothers have always dealt with it. No panic. But we see this panic everywhere recently in the news as if everyone wants to fall. They are bringing it back like COVID. Why exactly? What's
going on?
What's happening?
Okay, so there are two reasons why it's generally it's bringing up a lot of panic elsewhere. And, it's, for one, we've seen over the past few years that any outbreak anywhere in the world puts, every other person at risk. And that is because for us in Africa, like you rightly said, it's the endemic, so most of us in Africa have some level of immunity against it. In other parts of the world, they don't have that much of immunity now because people, like I said, in the 70s and early 80s, people had vaccinations against smallpox, and that vaccine could, also confer some level of protection against monkeypox. But of course, since smallpox was eradicated, nobody's getting that kind of vaccine routinely anymore. So they don't have the kind of immunity, against that as before. So naturally, it's sort of like in an uptick in the number of infections they are having, compared to what was, was there before. So of the truth, we're having an increase in the number of cases. And like I said, to a large extent, we expect that people should be fine. But as we've seen with COVID and its behavior with most viruses, you get the occasional person who has, a weak organ function somewhere, and these infections can cause, severe illness. So this is one. But right. Secondly, it also shows that the relationship between animal behavior, that's rodents and humans, and you saw that with COVID how an animal infection broke into the human population and caused such devastation. We've seen that with increase in the number of cases of Lassa fever the past 2 years. Now we're saying it's monkeypox. It's called monkeypox because it was first discovered in monkeys. It's not that monkeys are the drivers now. Now the biggest drivers remain things like dogs, rats, rabbits, those things that people have increased communication with.
What? Go ahead, Waike.
Yeah, some of us on this table, we love bushmeat. So, and I read somewhere that NCDC was saying that bushmeat is one of the ways we can catch monkeypox. So, would you advise that we curb the bushmeat consumption or it's okay if we boil the meat very well?
You can call him.
If you roast it, Uncle.
Yeah. You're correct in that. That, you know, like I said, it's a human to animal interaction that, you know, exposes people to this infection. So people who, number one, are hunters who catch this bushmeat, and then those who process it, that is those who touch the meat where it's still wet and, you know, very infectious, of course, and those who eat a poorly prepared, you know, specimen can, you know, can get infected potentially. So, but we have a scenario where, and so ideally, of course, the first, you know, thing is that, well, people should avoid it if they can. But we don't know, like they said, that, you know, we're Africans who love our bushmeat. So there is a program, and it's an attempt to train hunters and those who, you know, interact with animals, who catch them, train them, you know, guide them on how to prepare it safely, you know, and cook it well. Because if it's well cooked, of course, it's not going to be infectious. But, you know, since you don't have no officers supervising everyone who cooks and prepares bushmeat, of course, as a government, they will tell people to avoid it. But we know that people cannot, well, it's not possible for everyone to avoid it. So they train people, okay, this is how to prepare, make sure that the fluid from the animal does not, you know, you don't get exposed to that, and, you know, you cook it well. So people, you know, will eat that. This is the science of it. But in terms of advising people, of course, you tell people that it's better to avoid it. But when you cannot avoid it, of course, you have to prepare it very well.
All right, sir. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has said that there is no cure for monkeypox. There's no treatment for it. So what happens when someone contracts it around you? What are some of the things we can do to help that person and not make it contagious for people around?
Okay, so the presentation of monkeypox may present with the blisters, and that's what everybody knows and talks about. However, sometimes people may not present with that, just, you know, body aches, and most people, you won't know that they have it. So the general advice in terms of you feel that someone is ill around you still remains the same. They should present to hospital. There's no treatment, you know, really, but when now there's an outbreak and somebody has a fever or a rash in the body that you don't know what it is, they should come to hospital. Or if they're not that ill and feel that they can help it through, they should isolate and, you know, at home. We don't know what is home self-isolation now. COVID has taught all of us that. For monkeypox, it's advised that people should isolate for up to 3 weeks. The incubation period can extend up to 20 days. So people should, you know, stay away from others, and it's transmitted by touch. So hand washing, again, is the one that comes in very, very, you know, relevant here. You don't need to put so many gadgets, but just make sure that you wash your hands properly when you get in touch with someone or something that is really suspicious. The good thing about viruses is that, in the basic hygiene process, we sort of take care of them. So hand hygiene, you know, essentially will, you know, take care of that. But if you come in contact with someone, you know, report, because it's a possible illness. But then again, simply just self-isolate for up to 3 weeks, and other people should be fine.
Yeah, good.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, we still have our doctor in the building. Waike had a question before the break. Go ahead, Waike.
Yes, I'm hearing there's no cure, there's no cure. There's no treatment. So can you recover from monkeypox? 1, does it kill? 2, and 3, why are they saying it's coming from Africa? Is it from Africa, true?
Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, so your first question, can you recover? Yes, you can. In fact, over 95% of people recover, from monkeypox. The biggest complication people have is the scars that may be left on their skin. That's for women. I'm sure for most people that can be a big deal, but I mean, it's not life-threatening. If you look at it like that. But can it kill? So yes, in a selected number of people, I was mentioning that people who have compromised organ function, who have underlying, heart problems. It's just the way we talked about COVID, heart problems, lung problems, and all that. The infection can become severe, and such people can die. Again, the peculiarity around monkeypox is that it's sort of severe in children. So children sort of tend to have more severe disease, than adults. But generally, people expect people to recover, from it. Why did they say it comes from Africa? It was because it was first discovered in Africa. DRC Congo, with its very large forest, has been a huge reservoir there. Two, our interaction with rodents and other forms of, so-called bush or forested animals, and all that sort of makes it a very that. And then thirdly, our process allows for wide spread of infection within the community. So it's sort of endemic here. So, when people come here, it's easy for them to circulating within us. So it's something, and that's why if somebody comes to Africa, goes back, and they pick it, but not picking it there because people have some level of immunity against it, and it's circulating freely. But for them, like I said, the immunity that they got against smallpox vaccines has waned. So they're, more or less, and we're going to be seeing more and more of this, in the months and years to come. Yeah.
So I hear that the monkeypox is a mutation from the smallpox, and one of the ways the Western world was able to, get ahead of it was to have a vaccine that worked for everybody. Now, I don't know if that vaccine is still available, the smallpox vaccine now, and is there any way that people can begin to use that to, shield themselves from having the monkeypox?
Okay, yes. So it's not really a mutation per se. They're related. When you say mutation, scientifically you are saying it is one thing but has changed shape into another thing. Okay. In this case, they're related but not the same virus at all. But the smallpox, because they are closely related, the smallpox vaccine has provided some level of protection against it. So yes, what is happening now is that for people who are high-risk exposed, so for example, people who work in the laboratory and handle that, or people who, have had high-level exposure, they can be given the vaccine as a reactionary measure, or people who are working in very high-risk environments who are, what's the word now? Tampering with this kind of virus for research purposes can be given the vaccine, preemptively. But generally, as a public health measure of mobilizing that vaccine, for everyone, the level of alert has not reached there yet, because you will know that mobilizing vaccines does have its risks and all of that. So that is there. But clearly, the stockpile of a smallpox vaccine that's currently available, that has been stockpiled, in the hot zones, more or less, especially in the Western world. So if and when the case of monkeypox do reach on a level where they start disrupting healthcare services and other activities the way COVID has, then I'm sure you hear the discussion around vaccines being mobilized on a wide scale. But at the moment, no.
So since it broke out in many non-endemic states and countries, we don't have much to worry about here, correct?
Sorry, come again.
Since it broke out in many countries where it's not very, it's not endemic, do we have nothing to worry about in this side of the world, right? In Africa right now, it's still okay. It's under control. Can we go with that?
No. Well, so generally, in terms of being proactive and planning, now we have a global health system. We know that once you have an infection somewhere, it's every other person is at risk. So global public health institutes like the WHO, the Africa CDC, the NCDC have the responsibility to make sure that structures are put in place, which means, number one, because now two things can happen in an outbreak. One, you have those who do not have immunity, and so are at risk of having severe disease and dying or having complications. That's one population. Then you have the other population who have some level of immunity, but who are having active infections, but not presenting with illness. That group those are the kind of groups that can, within their body, they're not sick, but they're having infections. That's where mutations can keep occurring. It's like a laboratory where, we can't say in Africa that we're fine and no problem. Okay. We need to put in place structures, advisories, have the discussion on the front burner like we're doing now, so people know how do we interact with our animals going forward. How should the idea of hand hygiene be on the front burner? People need to just have that kind of consciousness where we know that, okay, there's something going on and we need to do something about it. And right. I think that if everybody understands that we all have a role to play, I may not be sick, but I can contribute to the discussion and do something in my own part, then, I think that would be the
All right, let me get a final question in for you. Go ahead.
So what's the link between treatment and the African herbal treatments, where we usually call agbo, towards things like this?
Okay, so at the moment, there's nothing to show that, that helps. Other than that, some of these herbal treatments will have, contain certain generic or non-specific antioxidants. So you have certain plants that have strong antioxidant properties that should be able to generally do that. But the challenge with the herbal treatment always remains lack of standardization. Nobody exactly knows what's inside, who prepares them. Is there somebody because anybody can prepare from the house. How do we know that they prepared it hygienically, and all of that? But so generally, from the orthodox point of view, it's always there's kind of suspicion that comes because number one, that interface is not strong. We don't exactly know what that does and how it does what it does. But obviously, for us Africans, you see people speaking strongly about. But as a public health measure, obviously, you cannot push that out. This is the idea that it's mild, severe in the people. The best bet against this is to find ways of preventing its spread within the community. And simple measures like handling, it should be able to take care of that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akashi, for joining us this morning. I appreciate you shedding light on monkeypox virus. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back with our hot topic of the day, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We had initially advertised that we're going to have the Commissioner of Police here today to talk about the Okada ban in Lagos State and the enforcement especially, because many had complained last week that many Okadas were taken from people. I wanted to understand the modus operandi of the police in this, but unfortunately we're told a few moments ago that he can't be here. We'll still try to see if we can get him on sometime this week to know exactly how they intend to enforce, because which is really crucial. Where we had mentioned it yesterday, we don't want a situation whereby people are becoming high-handed on this matter. So it would be nice to talk to the police to know how their plans are. But we have to move on to other topics. So there's another topic that actually caught our attention. A young lady or young man, I choose not to use the person's name because we don't have the full story yet. But the story that came to us, which was interesting, was the fact that this man allegedly worked for a company where they gave him a bike. Now, bike, we don't know if it's a bicycle, or we don't know if it's a normal motorbike. We're not sure. It's not really clear. But he was given a bike, and according to him, the bike was stolen from him when he at home. He reported to the office that the bike was stolen. The office obviously got him arrested because they felt that's their property. They arrested him and insisted that that bike must be repaid. And then he was detained, and while being detained, he was able to get the money to pay back for the bike. Unfortunately, he was not released, even though he had made full payment for the bike, according to the story. Sadly, I think he was arrested, I'm not sure the dates now, in March. Thank you, YK, in March. He then was from March till April 24th. He then died in custody. Now, the family are seeking justice. Now, I said I'm not going to mention the name of this person or the company involved because we are yet to get confirmation from the company to know their own side of the story. So it would be unfair to bring this out there. But it's good to, these kind of stories bring up other issues of how we treat others, even when they have failed us, even when somebody has stolen from you. What's the way? How do we handle it? Do we detain them to punish them? Or what's the right thing to do in these kind of situations? Who is at fault? Is it the police? Because the police is saying he was sick during custody. Or is it the people who got him arrested? What exactly happened? What are your thoughts? Because these are part of the Nigerian judicial system that we don't understand. Somebody wronged you, you don't know what the process is. So that's our conversation today. Call us on the numbers on your screen. And you can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweet. Yes, YK, you're going to say something.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I know of the law, you are not supposed to detain a person for more than 48 hours without taking them to court. This guy seems to have been in prison for about a month.
Yeah.
For what? You didn't take him to court, so they're using power.
Why are you keeping him there?
Yes, and that's my problem with the system here. We lord it over people who we think are less than us. We lord it over people because we have money.
Yes.
And I think it's a character flaw, a very big character flaw that has to change in this part of the world, honestly.
So when I read the story, I felt really bad because I know that when you lose something as a human being, of course it hurts. If you have an organization and you have employed people to work there, and then this one gets pulsed today, this one gets misplaced today, I know it hurts. But I want to employ that we begin to have that milk of human kindness. So as an employer that I am myself, what I would have done in that situation was to, okay, because I know that if you are really a thief, you won't come back to report. You would sell the bike and go. You know, you just disappear with it. But the fact that you came back to say this is what happened, I was okay. Even if I want you to pay for it, I will have to start deducting it from your salary. I would spread it. And if I pay it to a certain, if you pay to a certain level, I could say, okay, let's forget about it because I've seen that it happened by mistake. I've seen your intention that it happened by mistake. But to quickly just arrest this young man, and then even after he had finished payment, we're not making any move to release him. I think it's very, very unfair. I think it's just a misuse of power, an abuse of power. You feel you can do it. I have the money to lock you up there and nothing can happen. But now that he has died, the conversation has changed.
Yes, see, I'll come to that conversation, but does a citizen have the right to hold somebody? Is it not the police? I mean, is there a lawyer? Can I just say I'm arresting him and keep her there for 2 weeks? Do I have that right?
No, I don't think you do.
So in Nigeria, it happens a lot. But you do not have that right. It's a big map or a small man thing. I will show you. I will lock you up and throw away the keys.
Yes.
Without any clear charges. You can't just lock up a person. And even if there are clear charges, you have to charge the person to court within 48 hours. And with a court order, hold on, continue detaining the person. So without a court order, you can't just continue. But in Nigeria, in fact, even the federal government does not obey rule of law. So we know courts will grant bail several times. And this attitude, this is why I always say, when you're in leadership, you're in a position of influence. Your actions will continue to inform how the people's way of life will continue to go. If the federal government as a government cannot obey a court order to release a person or grant a person bail, and immediately they hold on to the person while they form a fresh charge, that's the problem entirely. In this case, it's so painful. Number one, there's something called malicious prosecution here. And it's actionable. So I'm hoping that the family of this young man will do the needful. I didn't read this story. I just heard you just say he died. You know, I didn't expect that sort of event. So there's also something called false prosecution here. And it's also actionable. So I'm hoping that the young man's family will sue this company for everything that they are worth. And even if the court is taking forever, sit on it. If it takes you 10 years, be in court every single day and see if judgment will not come your way. This young man's life is worth it. And the precedent that it will send to other companies. The other day, we took a report of a young man who tried to resign from one company, a woman, headed by a woman he was working with. And she said that everybody that tried to resign from her company, this is what she does to them. She would get them arrested, saying that they are stolen from her, find cases, and the young man was thinking of going back to resume. He said that's how she controls people. And it happened internally. It's closer here, because the person affected was a colleague. And I was wondering, how do people just do these things? Then the police themselves, How do people just buy you into this?
Yeah.
So there's the part
that's
of...
the real question.
That's
the fundamental... That's the area of fundamental rights abuse. And the police know that
The
this
police
is
should be
actionable.
protecting us. The police should have protected this young man.
The police should be prosecuted.
Thank you. The police should not even protect. The police should investigate.
And do their job.
If there was a case I had to do at Onirike, and I know the person because I had to stand in for that young man. Somebody was dating someone. The father of the girl then says she was kidnapped, locks his daughter up somewhere, and they arrested this young boy and locked him 5 days. I had to ask police, if he kidnaps her while he's in detention here, will she escape? Will he release her from here? You're holding on to him. Why not release him? Plan somebody to follow him. Maybe he will lead you to wherever this girl is. But you're holding on to him and his father comes here every day. You make the old man pay 3,000, any amount of money daily, saying that he's for his feeding and all of that. And nobody was investigating anything. But when we threatened to escalate, that young man was then released. Only for the family of the girl to be calling me, please don't escalate, don't take it to the media. These things happen. The police, if you arrest somebody for a crime, investigate the crime. And it's beyond just questioning the person, locking up the person. Follow the trail. If it is about a bike missing, they should, if people are alleging that he stole the bike, they track it. If they tracked it. And if he returned the bike, he didn't confess to stealing it.
Let me take this call from
charge him to court.
Abubakar from Maryland. Good morning, Abubakar. Are you there? Hello, Abubakar, you're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, you're live.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead,
He's
please.
struggling to hear.
Good morning to everybody in the house.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
And my greeting goes to Yemi. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This thing has happened to me before. I'm a driver by profession. I'm driving a wealthy man. So we went out with a jeep. I don't know how it happened. He told me to go. He went to club with the jeep and he told me to leave the key with him there at the club and went home. The next day, in the morning as I resumed, I met a policeman there. He showed me inside the car that my attention is needed at the police station. What happened? That is the order from my boss. On getting to police station, I was told I stole 50,000 naira. That is how I entered one chance. So I spent 3 weeks in a police cell.
Wow.
Before I was transferred to Panti, I spent another 2 weeks in Panti. So my family gathered the money and paid the money. Police refused to release me at Panti.
Hey.
They say I should pay another extra money again before I can be released. So one of my brothers called the attention of a lawyer. When the lawyer came, the lawyer said they should charge me to court. Now we should meet. They should tell him the date that I will charge to court. To be sincere with you, I spent almost 3 months in Banki before I was released. At the end of the day, it is the madam that found the money under the seat of the car.
Father in heaven.
So it's always happening in Nigeria like that. If you don't have anybody to fight for you, you just
That's it.
suffer for nothing.
Thank you very much,
So
Abubakar,
to
for
God
sharing.
be the glory. I'm still alive today. That's my own contribution.
Thank you, Abubakar, for sharing the story.
Thank
You see, this is the Nigerian story, and it's such a pathetic story.
It is.
If you don't know anybody, if you don't have any connection, that's it. You're done
That's
for.
it.
Why should it be?
That's the sad
Why
part
should
of
it be?
Yeah.
They will
And they will not
country.
compensate him. I'm sure.
They will say
seriously
sorry.
doubt.
Sorry,
But which
move on.
compensation?
So I won't even say
Even if
Sorry.
they were
For
going
your
to
life.
compensate him, which compensation would be equal? Let's not even say he died like the young man. Like Abubakar, what compensation can compensate you for 3 months
Of your life.
A character damage, innocent detention, suffering, and the state of those places where they are locked, which, except that you sue that man for that false accusation that he did not investigate and the malicious prosecution. Let the court sue, say you to go and test it criminally, not just even civilly.
You know, Mariah, we have a culture of oppression. It's a culture. It's already ingrained in us. We like to, once you feel I have more than this person, do you know who I am? They will hit their hand on their chest. I can lock you up. I can shut you down. I can do this.
God
we have that
bless you.
culture. However, the security agencies and the systems that are supposed to save us from ourselves, protect us from going to the extreme in that oppression, connive with us, and they connive with the money bags. They connive once you have money, because even if they want to help you fight your case, they will say you need to buy fuel, you need to pay a recharge card, you need to do this, you need to do that. By the time you look at your pocket, you don't have anything. And then they move to the direction of the person who would give them money to do what they need to do. So it's always tilted to who is paying. And I think that should stop. I think we should begin to make noise. I really don't understand why the family members of this boy did not start shouting when he was locked up. They waited till he had died before we're hearing something.
I will tell you, I will explain. Because by this time, they are begging the police. Please release, because they don't have power.
And they refunded the bike they did not steal.
They gave them the money.
You see, at times like this, we need to speak to the police.
Honestly.
I would really like to have somebody...
The man will not want to come on our show.
Well, I really need to speak to the police.
I would have been ready for him today, but
let me take this call from Belinda. Belinda, are you there?
No, to ask him a question.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Yes, so my contribution to the conversation is of a personal experience. Being a lawyer myself, and then having had issues with releasing prisoners from prisoners who have been held without trial in prison, you'll find so many cases where people just take people and put them in prison, and nobody comes for them. They're not charged to court. And as the YK has mentioned already, that the Constitution says you should not be held for a longer period of time than what is in the Constitution without being arraigned in court. The last one we had was a young girl who was put there because her madam said she cooked with meat that was outside for 24 hours. She was kept for 2 years, and she had a baby in prison.
Oh, my God.
So when we went to release her, we had to ensure that we made contact with the madam who put her there. Because the thing now is not to look at what happened, it's what will happen to her afterwards. So what we should look at in this case of this man who died is what the company will do for the family afterwards. Because he's dead. I mean, there's just absolutely nothing anybody can do about it.
Belinda,
so what will be done for the family?
Belinda, let me ask you this question, because the police is saying that once the case is charged to court, there's nothing they can do about it. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, in this country, I don't see much. Because whoever wants to do anything about it must have money, must have capital to go against this particular company. We don't know how big the company is or how connected they are. But they were able to put someone in prison and the person died, and nothing was said about it except that you ladies have brought this issue up. So that's one of the problems we face. So what we should look at right now is what can be done for the family afterwards. This man might be a breadwinner. So that's my contribution.
Thank you, Belinda. Thank you so much.
Okay, so besides, what can be done for the family, internally the police have a mechanism of investigating things like this. So we're asking the IG, what happened in the case of this young man?
How did he die?
How was it investigated? Was he charged to court? Was he held in detention by a court order? Or was he held in detention from one superior order? It's above the top, Malga, the top superior order. Was it that kind of order? And if it was, what was the stake of the Oga at the top in the matter that did not concern him, that they held him? And what was the cause of the death?
Exactly.
Somebody must dig deeper than, just compensating the family. Yes, the family deserve compensation, but compensation can't bring back a life. And so they must be grieving, and they would want justice. Justice will mean that somebody pays for this kind of suffering and the death of this young man unexplainably.
I know.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us, Rebecca.
Sure.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We have a caller, Oluwambelaye. Good morning. Are you there from Ota? Good morning. Are you there, Oluwambelaye? Hello, sir. Are you there? Okay, so I think we lost that call. Right. So there's a story. I mean, I think I was sharing with Nima, a friend of the house. This is somebody that many of us know. You know, and he got into a situation. He called me and said, "Mara, what can I do?" He needs help. Yes, he has his own fault. So what happened? He rented a space from maybe like a BC, right? And he's been paying BC 3 million naira every year for that space, thinking that BC owned the property. We'll find out later. Now, this BC, unfortunately, was renting it from Nima. So Nima now says, "I need my property." So she now comes to me and says, I want my, you can't, you come and pull down this your structure. He had paid 3 million naira, built up a nice structure, renovated the place. The place looks beautiful. He invested 17 million, making the place look so nice. Just for her to say, sorry, the owner of the land wants the property.
Wants to use it.
And he's like, what's going on? So you kept disturbing the guy. The guy kept begging, please, I need to introduce me to the real owner. Let me even go and beg the person if they can give me some more time because I've invested so much.
Yeah.
Back and forth. This guy was putting her under pressure to leave. Now, she now got police to arrest me, to force me out.
Hi.
So the man was arrested, and with his entire family, he called me like around that 5 a.m. No, around like 11:30, almost 11 somewhere around. They're taking us to the police station now. Wow. I told him to call Nima, but I didn't even know if he called the next day. So he didn't know what to do. I started calling people. Like, what can we do to help this guy? It's not that. So because she was very influential and she had power, she detained this man with the police.
Oh, God.
So the point is that this high-handedness we use because we have power, we have influence, we have money over those who don't is the issue here. And it's a Nigerian thing. We do it all the time.
Yeah. It's a Nigerian thing.
House boys, house girl, drive, everybody that we feel that we have something over. Just arrest them. Oh,
and
they
the
stole my
police
money.
Allow themselves to be used by these people. Yeah. You know, it's
now saying that once you're charged, they cannot do anything about it. And I'm thinking, okay,
no, but the police are the ones to charge. And the police administratively sometimes just say, we can't prosecute this and let's go. The police have the power to investigate matters and say, oh, based on what the evidences that we have on this case, this is no case. This cannot be sustained.
And whether it's a bailable offense.
So they should stop being tools for evil.
Murder and rape that are not bailable offenses. These are bailable offenses. So
when I just run away, that's the problem.
YK is still not in the police's purview to determine what is bailable and what is not.
I know, but they don't even charge these people to court.
Let me take Oluwambelaye is back, I'm told. Good morning, are you there? Oluwambelaye, are you there? Yes, you were saying.
So, okay, go ahead. It's for me, the ideal is there. We have good laws, good standards to follow, set by lawmakers. We have everything. But we, the people, are the issue. You that they're asking you to lock up a young man, every time you go into the cell and you see him, you know this one really commits crime. And he's sick or he's mixing with...
Yes, that's the situation with this young man.
What happens to your conscience?
And they left him there.
They think
so shouldn't they have contacted the family? So, I mean, everybody has a responsibility here. The police too should have contacted the family that your guy is getting sick.
The police should have released him, taken him to hospital. They don't even
the police are culpable.
They are culpable. In fact, their hands zip inside this blood that we are talking about.
But unfortunately, we may not be able to do anything.
We can
against it.
Against the police. The ID. We've had instances like that. We've had instances where the ID gets up and does the needful, and we see justice start from the police themselves.
I say,
they have a provost. They have all of that.
That you have influence, or that you know somebody. If you enter their trouble, I know from experience. I know there's this guy that does decorate. When I was 50, and we were looking for him to come and... No, when my brother was 50, that was 10 years ago, we were looking for him to come and decorate. We couldn't find him. I was calling his number. Meanwhile, SARS had locked him up. He went to go and buy a car unknowingly that had been used to kidnap somebody. Hey, police carried him. He was there for 6 months. He was there for 6 months. When they even let him out, they still seized the car.
That he bought.
He didn't know it was a bad car. They seized the car. He said it was hers. He said they were killing people beside him. He said every day we're praying that, please let me come out. Let me come out. In fact, when they seized the car, he was even saying thank you, sir, and ran out.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there? Hello, good morning, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Oluwambelaye Isaac on the line. Can you hear me?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to make my comment on the show. as regards to justice being demanded in Nigeria and the issue with the Nigerian police system. I could remember I had one issue like that also, that my elder sister was arrested. And she was pregnant. And what they charged her for, it was not even something, she was not even guilty of it. While we were there, and we were even pleading, and at the end of the day, tear gas was released into the air. And she was uncomfortable. She was not even released. Later on, when the DPO came and we were talking, we came with another Navy officer. The DPO had to tell us that we have to pay. That if we do not pay, that they are not going to release my other sister. So he was not even telling us that this we know that he is going to maintain the police station. So I don't think when we talk about our police system, my prayer is that I don't even want my enemy to have issues with our police because they have really failed us. They've failed us, and I don't think there's anything any of us can do. Because if you don't have money, I didn't mean we don't have money that day. She will be there with her pregnancy, and she will give birth there. So that's my take on the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes,
I think we should have an independent commission that monitors the police.
Quality Management Commission.
Quality, yes, that monitors. See, power that goes unmonitored, unquestioned. This is how it unregulated. This is how it just goes. You feel like worst case, they will shout, they will call us, and that's it, we move on. Everybody's doing the same thing. I will get this person arrested, and Oga at the top will say, oh yeah, release that person. My friend, why are you holding that person? And all of us, we do the same thing. So what are they talking about? But if we have that independent commission that monitors, so you know that you are responsible for everything you do. There are checks and balances. They come into the cell, they ask questions. What is Mr. John doing in the cell? What crime did he commit? When was he arrested? Why still there? Why is this one here? Why did this one die? Why is this one sick in the cell? We hold them accountable. I think that is where we should be looking towards.
Let's bring this conversation to reality. So I'm going to paint two scenarios. Somebody's working with you right now, just like you said earlier. He actually stole 5 million naira jewelry from you.
Okay.
And it's clear.
Yeah.
He confesses. He doesn't have money to pay it back because he took the money, the jewelry, he sold it and sent the money to maybe a village or something.
Yeah.
He was still working with you. Eventually they found out and maybe they were able to probe a bit and found out it was him and he confessed. Now, what do you do? Many people, the average Nigerian that I know, would call the police to arrest him first and say you have to find a way to pay back somehow. Go and call your family members, whatever it is they bought there, they start selling. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Now, we need to agree, is that right or is that wrong? That's number one. Number two, if a situation whereby, in this situation, where you actually wrongfully accuse somebody, you didn't realize this person was wrongfully accused. The person has gone to do some time in jail, and then you found the product that you thought was stolen. How do you who makes sure you compensate?
Who is monitoring?
So I want to, because this is a Nigerian story. We go through this every single day. Yeah. Many of us call police to arrest. That's the truth.
So let me bring back the talk about having a body that supervises or monitors the police. So if in anger, I say, okay, let's lock my 5 million, lock him up. Lock him up for 3 weeks. Lock him up for 1 month because I'm venting. I've lost money. Maybe that is all I have and everything. And then that body that supervises says, it's against the law to keep this man for so and so. We will work out a modality where he starts to pay you. But we cannot keep him except you want to charge him to court. So that's one stays as a check and balance.
Who does that now?
So that we do not...
Who does that? The police? The police, right?
Which Police Service Commission?
Do they be doing that?
Erring police officers are sanctioned and punished by the Police Service Commission. That is the purpose why they were created. To look into to sanitize the system. Yeah. And that was bad at the time. Also, if a person and you do business, you give the person money, maybe let's say 5 million, like you said, and the person just goes away with your money, it's conversion. That's a crime. So the police don't have to detain the person for your sake. You just have to petition the police. I give so person cup 00 naira. The person has broken the cup, melted it into a plate. He has converted it to his own personal use. The police would arrest him and charge him to court. Establish conversion. And then lock him up in prison, serving his time under the law. You have not done anything wrong. You know? But the police now say, Madam, don't worry, we'll get the money. Police, you are not debt collector.
Exactly.
Police are not debt. Madam, we'll get the money for you. Don't worry, they will now go arrest him. When we lock you up, all your ancestors will go and bring the money. That's the norm. That one is totally wrong.
That's wrong.
If you lock him up, his ancestors bring the money. What are you locking? Is that your job? If somebody is owing you money, you go and do a small claim in court. Action in court. In Lagos, it is even very fast, maybe less than 6 months max. You get your judgment for the amount and the compensation for the person who converted. All of that will be taken, you go into his assets and everything, they'll pay you the money. So there are some matters that are just civil, that are totally uncriminal, that you just see police be putting their head inside and be messing things up.
You know, as a last time, you know, me, I must have entered police wahala.
How many times?
A couple of times. There was one. We said, what time I was, shrine is bubbling now. That's how my sister, myself, and her boyfriend, we came out of the house maybe about 11. They caught us walking down the road looking for taxi. We spent the night in jail.
For wandering.
For wandering. They caught us for wandering.
Yeah. You can't do that now. They don't do that anymore.
They don't catch you for wandering.
But you may not come out.
While in university, we went for a prison intervention. I think I will explain for you. So there are areas where you were carrying out there, like my tutor beggar, you want to steal car. So a young man, we were in prison doing a prison humanitarian work. NASFAT came, they had trained some people, they were graduating students. And one woman came with NASFAT. And as she just turned like this, she saw a young man, they were reuniting in tears and all of that. And painfully crying and all of that, thinking, you know, he was locked up for 2 years. And he did not reach a family member. 2 years. He closed work, lives in Ajegule, closed work, and decided, I don't have enough money from my salary to take a bus. Let me just trek it across to Kirikiri area. And police picked him up for wondering, want to steal car. That guy stayed in Kirikiri 2 years. He could not reach a family member until the auntie came with NASFAT to come and be hugging him. In my very before as a young undergrad law student. That was the first time I'd seen such nonsense happening. And we know Prisons Reforms Association, Shoulders for You, and all of those bodies I work with constantly are working to get young men out.
Let me take this call from Ife. Ife hasn't holding. Good morning, Ife. Are you there?
Hi, good morning.
Yes, you are live. Go ahead, please.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I just heard one of the ladies in the studio said that there should be a team actually set up to go around each police station trying to find out illegal detention and see who is not supposed to be there at one particular point or the other. Now, I remember vividly that a team has already been set up between the Nigerian police and the NBA already, who is actually responsible for this particular thing or purpose that has just been mentioned. But the problem is this. No matter the team you set up, I've had a situation where I went to a particular police station in Mushin to bail someone. Now, a team came, around 11 p.m. A team came. They held me there too. They said I was a suspect because I had come to bail this person.
Wow.
Now, a team went around on patrol just to come and check what was going on. Do you know what they did? Immediately, someone alerted them that a team was coming to that particular division to check on the suspects or the people that were detained in the cells. They quickly moved to the cells. They extracted a number of people out of the cell, took them somewhere else to hide them, and then they only presented a few that they wanted that particular team to see to the team when they arrived. Now, that is to tell you the level of corruption that has eaten into every sector, even in the police. So whether a team has been set up or not, I tell you, if they do not want that team to see what they do not want the team to see, nothing will happen. A lot has been going on. And recently, I also went to the division to bail someone whose money was collected from a young man. They collected 350,000 naira from the young man, took him around the whole Lagos, drove him around everywhere, and then at the end of the day, they brought the young man into the station to keep him there, and then they let him go. Unfortunately, the young man had noticed, he picked one face, and was able to identify the police officer, which we took him on, and the money was recovered through the help of the PRO in Lagos, and of course, the first PRO, who is Ulumuyiwa Ladejobi in Abuja, were in contact with them constantly. And another one again, we did in February this year, we went 30,000 naira, another young man again in Ogudu division. So all these things are happening. A team has been set up. But I tell you, whether the team goes round or not, yes, they go round.
But
see, that's the Nigerian factor. Thank you very much for sharing this with us, because you see, it goes back to we the people.
Yes.
No matter, we always find a way to circumvent it. No matter how much policy, because somebody was saying that Nigeria has one of the best policies in the world. We have, like, when it comes to the constitution, we have like some of the most reputable laws in this country. But we, the people, always find a way to circumvent it. And that's what happened there. So even though what the quality, except for technology, it's only technology right now that we can begin to use.
Who is going to man the technology? The person can see off some camera.
That's what will happen in the trade fair area, your traffic area, the call-up system, the electronic call-up system. That's the issue. They found technology, but somebody's still going there to compute.
Let me just share about our area, the shrine area, you know. There's a place that we have been making U-turn, and it's completely legal. We've been making U-turn there for years. We have been there 22 years. We have been making
going towards Ada Small, and that's U-turn.
Yes. No, not going towards Ada Small. Coming from Ada Small, past the shrine, you make the U-turn.
Yes.
Then there is another place that they come out like this, but the road is like this.
Yes.
You're not supposed to turn there. Those people, last month, they have decided that that place is an illegal
It's business discreet. They collected 20,000 from my sister.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you, true. They've now put one sign saying no U-turn. And people don't know, because they've been making U-turn there for years. And they put cameras too.
I'm telling you.
Well, they collect every day. They can arrest up to 20, 30 people.
They're called business.
They are there. They just hide
CBD
in the corner there. They go hide.
Central business district.
So in front of Becca House, that U-turn is illegal now.
Yes, it's illegal. They will just come out, bam. They have been arresting people.
Collecting money. A senior sister.
And that's the Nigerian. So this, we are talking technology. We will still find a way to circumvent it. The place that should be illegal, when you turn to go, that one is now legal. That's Nigeria.
Let me take
just pray Nigeria doesn't happen to you.
Hey, YK, Baba prayer. Let me take Chema. Good morning, Chema. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to make a contribution concerning the police issues we are having in Nigeria.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Go ahead, Chema.
Okay. You know, like one of your colleagues said that maybe they should set up a committee that can even be checkmating the police.
Yeah.
But the fact remains that that committee will end up increasing the money they charge people. Because before you know, they will go and still join them. And when they want to collect 100,000 from you for them, they will ask the one they will give to
the committee.
My brother had a case with a man. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. My brother had an issue with a man. The man is actually a lecturer and at the same time a priest. My brother went to borrow money to sort out his school things. 200,000. I don't know I can't really go into details. Let me just give you. So before you know, after some years, the man now came after him that he should pay him 800,000 in addition as an interest. Now, instead of the man used police to pick up my brother, I know that the police people know that it's not right for such interest rate, 800,000 because of 200. But police people were just...
Oh, we lost that call.
This is sad. So me, I don't want to agree that Nigeria is the problem. If Nigeria was a problem, we won't have sound laws like we have. Not be Nigerians, they draft our laws. They didn't borrow the laws from outside. Our national assemblies, our state houses of assembly sit on these laws and they pass them. They react to problems like this, they pass new laws to stem them. But Nigerians keep cutting corners. So it is a Nigerian that is a police officer and has impunity at the highest level. It is a Nigerian that is the Nigerian businessman or other Nigerian that thinks that, I have powers. I can, carry out this kind of level of impunity. Nothing will happen. There are people. And so the system must sanitize itself, which is why on this particular case, we have solution 2 or 3. Number 1, the IG must investigate how this boy was detained and died in police detention internally. The other way, the family must go to court, ask the court to ask the police to explain or present the body of their brother alive. How did he die in police detention? Why was he not detained by a court order? Where are the court orders? And failure to do that, go and get a civil order against them. Because if they want to settle you, they make you forget, they will give you small thing. But when the court wants to punish in this kind of matter, when the matter goes to court civilly, the compensation will be such that it will deter anybody in their lives that attempt it. And the federal government must make sure that the police officers in question, whatever it is that is their entitlement at the end of service, will be used towards payment of this young man's judgment when it comes to
Let me take a call from John. John,
follow it through.
You're live. John, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, hello?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I want to just make a little input, about what is being discussed now, regarding the police. Actually, I don't want to sound disrespectful to the police force, but to me, the police commission, they have become untouchable. Let me just put it this way. A lot of things is happening in the police force. There are various police stations. There is need to checkmate the police. Really?
Oh,
really
there's need to checkmate the police. Sorry, John.
So we have some messages here. Good Beat says, the main problem is the police should not be charging people. They should only provide evidence. There should be a state prosecution office that would decide if the evidence is good enough. Principal said, there are evil and lawless people everywhere, but the government was set up to put people in check right from the days of the Bible and the Quran. Corey Michael says, one white boy tear me slapped the other day. I had the right to press charges. Police asked me, do you want to press charges? I let it go. Make we learn to let things go sometimes. Adiola says, no difference between citizens and people in government. The citizens are the same people that go into government. It's very hypocritical of us to criticize them. So at what point do we now begin to do things right? If we don't criticize people and ensure that we too do not repeat the mistakes of those people, do we now ignore because almost everybody is the same and not say it when it happens? We need to hold ourselves accountable, first of all, and hold other people accountable who are supposed to be our leaders, who are supposed to be in charge. If you have a job to do it to the best of your ability. If not, people will hold you accountable.
So if you are bringing, let's say you have a bowl of peas, of beans, right? And you're taking 2 or 3 of these peas and taking them circular to become the leaders. How are they going to act differently from the other beans? I think they're the same. We're a bunch of the same things. Yeah. So this bowl of beans expect these 3 pieces
to do magic
because we don't know better.
Yeah.
They do exactly. I'm just saying that we always expect so much of our leaders, but we're just like them.
That's why I started by saying we need to start holding ourselves accountable. Everybody needs to look inwards and look at the mirror. In my little position, how do I handle the things that I need to do? Do I have the will to do the right things, whether somebody is looking at us or not? We start there. But that does not also mean that we will not chastise people who are in the public space supposed to do their job.
Okay, let me tell you
people in the public space.
Speaking. Everyone around us, we must begin to hold ourselves accountable and try to change. We're wicked.
Take Hassan. Hassan, are you there from Lekki? Hassan, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is a very serious matter.
It is.
Of the breaches of human rights by the law enforcement officers that are supposed to protect the dignity of mankind. Look, in every police station, you see, we continue to repeat one thing. We continue to speak like a broken record. In every police station, there's a human rights office in every police station you see across the country. It was because of this outcry that human rights office came to be. Please, can we please call on those human rights officers to do their job? That's number 1. Number 2, look, the breach is all over the place. From the courtroom, the real accused get exchanged for an innocent person. They will arrest innocent person and replace him with the accused to the prison. That one happened in Lagos here. It happened all over the country. Look, when you see things happening, you just see that people just decided in their own way to be law on their own. There's nothing like human rights. And let me tell you, even what led to answers in Lagos has started rearing its ugly head now. Every day I'm going home from Apapa, I will see policemen. They don't stop me. I will stop, they will greet me, I will pass. But let me tell you, all those guys, you will see them stopping them as you are going towards Marina. They will stop them, they slap them, they collect money from them. All these cars, all those boys, they are accused of being Yahoo. Look, I'm not for Yahoo. But the issue now is this.
Right.
Every young man is not a Yahoo.
No,
Your sin now when you're driving a car is to be young.
Yeah,
if
you have a laptop
boy,
mistakenly in your car.
If you're a young boy, you're driving a car, you are automatically a Yahoo. Then God help you if you have Rasta dreadlock on your hair. You are definitely, there is no hope for you. My brother has one adopted son like that. He's every day, he's inside police.
My brother is constantly adopting sons, all of them.
He has 3 now.
Every time one adopted son,
he has 3. This one is a Rasta. So he's customer of police. My brother is always going to bail him from.
Wow.
Because when they see the dreadlock like this, they will just collect him.
We have to wrap up. But, you know, I mean, this is one of those.
But what I was going to say is, because Hassan was talking about human rights, even the police stations are not human rights. The police, they are ugly, they are not built well, they don't have computers, so they don't even look after the police. So why will the police look after you?
There's a major part of, public offices that we have failed to continue to ensure. When a person is approaching a public office for employment, like a police force or appointment into the IG's office and all of that, there is a character check where it is advertised. Somebody can then say, he has been of this kind of character and he's not this kind of person. He's not worthy of that office. Those kind of checks have been, killed gradually. But these were Nigerian systems, and they used to work. So we are Nigerians. We are straightforward people. We follow the law. These people that are they are the few amongst us. They are not the general. We should not allow that general brush to paint all of us.
Let me wrap up with this statement, because I know that we are hurt and we say a lot of things while we're hurt. But I got a message from somebody who I think I should read. It says, impunity may be prevalent now, but it's not a Nigerian thing, as you asserted. Criticize your government, but don't throw your country under the bus, because you throw yourself with it, which I acknowledge. So sometimes we get frustrated and we just want to, and say the country, don't let Nigeria happen to you. But the truth is, it's still our country. We can't go anywhere else. It's all we've got. So in our anger, in our outbursts, we must also remember that let's not throw Nigeria under the bus, because the truth is that this happens everywhere in the world. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.